Master's prepared registered nurse.
Well, first of all, your hospital is run by HHS, correct?
I work for Health and Human Services with Indian Health Services branch for the Native Americans.
These are federal employees.
Yes.
And we work for the government, so I mean, the main thing is we have to follow.
I know. I mean, that's another thing. I don't know how much longer I'll be here.
And the protocols here.
I know.
Are the policies and administrators coming directly from the federal government?
Yes.
The problem in here, they are not doing the studies. People that had it, you know, and the people that have been vaccinated, they're not doing any antibody testing.
Now you got this guy in room 4 who got his second dose of vaccine on Tuesday, has been short of breath. Okay, now his BNP is elevated, D-dimer elevated, ALT, all his liver enzymes are elevated, his PTINR is elevated. He's got
myocarditis.
Yes.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Now, let's see.
It's probably myocarditis due to the vaccine.
Right.
But now they're not going to blame the vaccine.
Well, and you know what? But he has an obligation to report that, doesn't he?
Oh,
it happened, right? What is it? 60 days after, if you see anything?
They have got to.
But how many people are reporting?
They are not reporting.
Right.
Because they want to shove it under the mat.
In this instance with Dr. Gonzalez, what patient was she referring to, or without saying
She
the
was
name?
referring to that patient that had congestive heart failure.
Congestive heart failure. And in that particular patient's case, it was not reported.
No.
I'm going to have to transfer you to another hospital. We don't have cardiologists here. And what you're developing is like a congestive heart failure. Okay? And that is not good. I don't know where this is coming from. On July 29th, you had the first COVID vaccine, and August 19th, you had the second. You know, you don't have COVID, okay, but you have got a lot of symptoms, you know, and you're developing congestive heart failure.
Were there other instances that they didn't report?
Oh, I've seen dozens of people come in with an adverse reaction.
Was one of the ones you saw a 15-year-old with blood clots?
Yeah, so I was just covering a nurse. He's in here with bilateral PEs, but he's fine. And I'm like, okay. So he wasn't on oxygen or anything like that. And I said, was he vaccinated? And then she's like, I don't know. So then I looked in the chart, and he was. He had the Pfizer vaccine at the end of July, and he was due for a second dose. So this is essentially 2 to 3 weeks later. Most likely cause of hypoxia, unusual PE at this age. Unclear etiology. They don't know why he got it.
So how do we know that the blood clots, or how do you know that the blood clots are a result of the COVID vaccine?
Because this is a 15-year-old, normal weight, healthy child. No reason for him to have a blood clot.
It's a shame they're not treating people. I know. Like they're supposed to, like they should. And I think they want people to die.
And how many have you seen that have gotten vaccinated here?
That got sick and side effects? A lot.
A lot.
Have you seen it too? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And I'm like, who's writing the VAERS report?
Nobody, because it takes over a half an hour to write the damn thing.
Right.
The CDC website, it says that you're required to report adverse events following vaccinations. Is there a policy at the hospital for reporting these complications? No.
There's never been any directive sent out on reporting. With this vaccine, we are in stage 3 clinical trials. Normally, stage 3 clinical trials is where you gather your data. What the responsibility on everyone is to gather that data and report it. And if we're not gathering that data and reporting it, then how are we going to say that this is safe and approved for use?
How come after 18 months we haven't had any research? Isn't that fishy to you?
It does. It is
doesn't.
It's super fishy.
Not that it hasn't been done. It hasn't been published.
It hasn't probably been done because the government doesn't want to show that the darn vaccine is full of shit.
What does she mean by full of shit?
It's not doing what its purpose was.
And what is Dr. McGee saying in that video?
He's trying to defend the vaccine.
Why would he do that?
Because that's his view on it. His view is get the vaccine, it's science, right? If we all just get it, this will all be over with.
Such a bunch of bullshit. And what do we do?
I don't know, but there's so much I want to blow up.
So much. How do we do that?
Like, you know, Project VAERS.
Why are you choosing to blow the whistle? It's not what a lot of people would do. They're scared, they're afraid.
What prompted me to do this was when I was house supervisor one night, and one of my co-workers had taken the vaccine and she didn't want to. She had went throughout this entire pandemic working in the intensive care unit. Pretty much was a COVID unit.
Yeah, it's really sad. She had just come back from surgery from leave 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks, and then got her first dose of vaccine after surviving this entire pandemic.
She didn't want to take it. She didn't want to take it because of her religious beliefs. And she was coerced into taking it. And it's like, nobody should have to decide between their livelihood, being a part of the team in the hospital, or take the vaccine. Now we're just making people take it, and then there's reactions to it, and then you have a medication that has been shown effective and surely has no adverse reactions for trying it.
Did Dr. Bakwa talk to you about prescribing ivermectin for?
Not a lot of this facility.
And so physicians can't prescribe off-label use medication here?
Not for COVID. They did it with hydroxychloroquine, and it was really bad, and so they are not allowing it right now.
She said yes, I would agree to write for this because she's not contraindicated. And
Dr. Bagwa said that?
Yes.
I am stuck. I am told you are absolutely not to use it under any circumstances whatsoever for somebody with COVID unless you don't want to have a job. I am not going to lose my job.
Damn.
They were not allowing, they were going to lose their job if they allowed you to use that drug.
Right, nuts. Right now, what is plaguing this country is the spirit of fear.
Are you afraid?
It's my career, you know, it's how I help people. But am I afraid? I wouldn't necessarily say I'm afraid because my faith lies in God and not man. So I have 2 older kids that are on their own, and I have a 12-year-old at home that I care for on my own. You know, like, what kind of person would I be if I knew all of this? This is evil. This is evil at the highest level. You have the FDA, you have the CDC that are both supposed to be protecting us, but they are under the government. And everything that we've done so far is unscientific.
Are you afraid they're going to retaliate against you?
Yeah. I'm a federal employee. What other federal employees do you see coming out?
But you put your faith in God.
Yeah. I remember reading about how with COVID trials they were having an issue recruiting African American people, and it was because of a different medication the government tried to do that was specifically designed to kill African Americans.
Oh, so like a mistrust thing.
Yeah.
But this thing's safe though.
And we know that now,
Yeah.
but like again, I think there is still this big mistrust in, like, it's deep rooted in.
Yeah. Can't blame them.
I can't, but at the same time, like, blow dart. It's where we're going. Yeah. I mean, my personal thing is like, you know, you get blow darts of J&J, and again, I'm a little
What do you mean
cynical.
blow darts of J&J?
Yeah, Johnson & Johnson.
What do you mean?
Like, go to the unvaccinated, blow it into them, blow dart it into them.
Yeah.
That's where I am at this point.
How do we reach the minority populations? Is there a way to do it? I want to get back to normal.
I'm sure there is. I'm not the person to answer it though, other than blow darts. Because I think that is a great solution.
Well, the problem with that is African Americans, they might think that it's like almost like a callback to like getting shot by like
It's fine. We'll go for the whites first.
Oh, there you go.
We'll post like video campaigns about doing it to the whites first, and then they can't call it.
Then they can't say it's racist.
Exactly.
Because it almost harkens back to like the thought of being shot in Africa by a blow dart and then put in a...
We'll have to hire some Amazonians first.
Yes.
Because like they'll get it done.
How good are you at blowing darts?
Want to see how fast to get an Amazon rainforest tribe out here? Yeah, but I mean, the undocumented immigration isn't much of an issue as like a lot of people make it out to be. I think the issue again is if it's a large population of people who are going to choose not to get vaccinated because they don't want to admit that they are undocumented. Again, you're going to create this issue where you got the anti-vaxxers and the people who are choosing not to for that reason, and then you have the vaccine. Again, the obvious answer is blow darts. If we just stick everyone again with the J&J to make sure that everyone's got something, we're good.
I know there's enough to go around, so I mean, it's just how to so unorganized.
Blow darts. It is the perfect answer. And since J&J isn't mRNA, you have no issue of it counteracting with anything else. So again, you just shoot everyone.
I wonder what kind of technology we have right now, like miniature sort of blow darts or anything like that. Something
drone darts. Easy. The white, uneducated, like, it's like all of the colloquial people that we see in like Alabama and all this, and it's like, apparently you need an IQ test, and if you fail below a certain level of IQ, you're getting a shot.
That's a good idea. That would probably put a lot of shots in arms.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, how feasible is that, though?
That's less feasible than the blow darts. I think the blow darts are probably still our most feasible option.
Alright, cool.
And like, the funding's there. It's easy to do. Blow darts. That's all we need. Done.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's terrible, but at this point I'm like, I don't care about your bodily autonomy. Because it's not just your bodily autonomy that you're putting in jeopardy.
You see any of that stuff going on with, what's her name? Nicki Minaj. I mean, I just don't understand why she's opening up her mouth and causing more harm. You know?
Well, see, the issue is that, like I just said, we look at it as harm because we think, and like I think most educated people would think, the vaccine's a good thing. Whereas, you know, on the other side of the coin, the people who are like, oh, the vaccine's terrible, it's the Antichrist, they're like, yes, our savior.
But my dad doesn't know anything. So I not on my problems with him were not on your level, but my problems with him were like, he's anti-vax.
Okay.
He's,
So we need a blow dart to go visit him.
Yeah. Yes. So,
hey Dad, stick your arm out.
Exactly.
What's that? Oh, it's just a vitamin C shot.
Exactly. In my opinion, the fitness industry dealing with this, like, you have to force it door to door.
Yeah.
And what are the chances of that happening?
I mean, census goes door to door if you don't respond. So, we have the infrastructure to do it. Costs a ton of money. But I think at that point there needs to be a registry of the people who aren't vaccinated. Although that's sounding very Germany at the same point.
I mean, we have to get back to normal. So
I agree. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there is, again, like I said before with other things, I don't think there's a good choice. there isn't a black or white choice. There's only gray choice. Because the black or white isn't feasible.
Yeah, I'm at the level where I'm like, honestly.
I agree. I'm also there. But what I think and what the government will actually do are very different. Because if they start handing out vaccines, I'm going to go door to door and stab everyone. Oh, it's just your booster shot.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not a trained licensed professional. It's fine.
I mean, you could tell them it's like a flu shot or something. It's a monthly.
I mean, I'm sure they don't take that either. So the death rate's gone down. This is the one thing that I hate about statistics is, sometimes you can play with them in the way that you want to show the information. So you can definitely do that, if you let COVID kill off everyone over 60, let's say. Everyone under that age is going to have an easier recovery period for the most part, so the death rate would obviously go down. It's like, oh, we're doing a great job, death rate's down, but it's like, okay, you've killed off like 400,000 people. And again, that's one of the things that statistics is like, oh, you play around, sometimes you can find the thing to tell you what you want to tell you.
Well, I just figured that it would be a no-brainer that they would push for the booster shots. I don't know.
Yeah, again, I understand FDA's position because it was like, oh yeah, they only produce the data for 65 and older with these booster shots, so they don't have the data to say, oh yeah, it does the same thing for 20-year-olds. And it's like, okay, but do we think it's harmful for 20-year-olds to get a booster shot? This is my question to FDA, and it's like, they're like, they didn't provide enough data, and it's like, okay, I get it, but I don't at the same time. But that's my personal opinion. Again, if you're an undercover journalist, you can't quote me.
Yeah.
So this is the thing that's always like really crude as an economist, is we have a certain value that we put on each human life. And so when I think about like government mandates like that, I think about it in those terms, which is terrible because I think each human life is priceless in its own self, but like, okay, so if you give 1 million vaccines and 2 of them are blood clots, okay, you have a loss of $10 million about in your like government regulation type world framework. Because each life accounted for about $5 million. And again, it can range and all that stuff, but like, okay, so if you give these 1 million vaccines, you get everything back to normal, are you making more than that $10 million loss, or are you not? And that's the way that like we're trained to like try and think about these things in terms of cost-benefit analysis, that type of stuff. Again, my own opinion is very different, but...
So you're trained, can you explain that in layman's terms better?
Yeah, so like with our econ training, with like, when I learned how to do my job.
Will they like ever play politics with like the science? Or?
So, I would think that the general people there, so the people who are the actual scientists, no. But there are political appointees that are generally scientific advisors who are appointed by the president or the commissioner. So they definitely do.
Yeah.
Because, they're being paid based on if the other people are staying in power. Unfortunately, everyone ends up playing politics. But I don't think that the career scientists are. I think that it's the people that they're unfortunately having to report to because these political appointees are being put in place. And that's part of like the Senate confirms the people to then just pick their people.
Lee?
Yeah.
Would you mind giving me a comment on some statements you've made?
I remember reading about how with COVID trials they were having an issue recruiting African American people.
I can't blame them.
I can't, but at the same time, like, blow dart.
If I was unvaccinated, would you, hypothetically want to shoot me with a blow dart?
Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about this, thank you.
I understand you may not want to talk about this, but this is your opportunity to speak.
There needs to be a registry of the people who aren't vaccinated. Although that's sounding very
Germany.
The Germany that you're thinking of is in
Germany. I mean, think about it like the Jewish Star.
Would you like to give some context to these statements?
So if they start handing out vaccines, I'm going to go door to door and stab everyone. Oh, it's just your booster shot. Stick your arm out.
Exactly.
What's that? Oh, it's just a vitamin C shot.
You have nothing to say, you're just going to pack up and now leave? You're an employee of the FDA, and sir, you're really just going to just scatter out? Classic, a scurry. Once someone sees their own statements, nothing to say now. Was very candid with my colleague. Classic?
I'm curious. You know? You have to get the vaccine, you're a kid. You know?
Meet scientist Justin Durant and regional business lead Brandon Schatt, officials with pharma giant Johnson & Johnson. Both men echo startling admissions about their own company's COVID vaccine and their concerns on long-term repercussions for children.
Okay. You just don't do that.
Right.
Not something that's so unknown in terms of the repercussions down the road. You know?
So would you say we don't know the repercussions of it?
I mean, how could you, right? There's nobody who's 30 years in that said, hey, I got the vaccine and I don't have a third eyeball.
So what do you think this is about? Do you think it's about the money?
Politics, money.
Okay, so then if you think that babies don't need to get vaccinated, then why do you think there's such a strong push for it?
Justin Durant, scientist at Johnson & Johnson, is clear on one thing. Don't get this vaccine. And he doesn't want you to know that he said that. He even texted our journalist reminding her to keep what he said secret, saying if the public found out, he could get in mad trouble.
To tell her to not get the Johnson & Johnson one, don't get the Johnson & Johnson.
I didn't tell you no.
Okay.
I didn't tell you no. I didn't tell you no.
Despite these doubts, Durant appears to embrace his company's role in pushing policies that, quote, inconvenience the unvaccinated into second-rate citizens.
The only way people really act from that is that affects their pocket. So it's like, if you're working for a big company, you've got to lose your job. Best believe you're going to be the first one in the line. I mean, if you can't work, that's fine. No, but like a second-rate citizen, you can't do anything on a normal citizen. Inconvenience them to the point where it's like, it's the odd, like, not the odd, but I'm not as much as.
And as to what the media is saying about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
So you said I shouldn't trust the media?
In no capacity should we trust anything that they say.
The government doesn't want to show that the darn vaccine is full of shit.
There needs to be a registry of the people who aren't vaccinated. That's sounding very Germany. I'm going to go door to door and stab everyone. Oh, it's just your booster shot.
Don't get the Johnson & Johnson.
I didn't tell you no.
She didn't want to take it because of her religious beliefs. She was coerced into taking
They
it.
are not reported because they want to show it on the map.
Do you think it's about the money?
Politics, money.
Then why do you think there's such a strong push for it?
Laws like that. If you want to go to a bar, you need to come in with a COVID test. Like, inconvenience these people so much. They're just like, ideas.
So that's what we need to do.
That's what we're doing.
In the midst of the growing nationwide vaccine mandates, including mandates for young students, Durant leaves no question about this. Do not take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, he says. Inconvenience the unvaccinated is something he says, quote, we need to do.
Inconvenience them to the point where it's like, it's the odd, like, not the odd, but I'm not as much as. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I can't go out upstairs, I can't, my grandma's looking at her, I can't visit her, I can't, it's just, you can't go to France unless you're vaccinated. I can't go to France. Like, you just gotta keep doing stuff like that. So it's like, it's almost like a second-rate citizen. Like, I know that sounds
You're almost what?
like a second-rate citizen. You can't do anything on a normal citizen.
A second-rated citizen?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like, top grade, but when you did it, the ones that are just like,
Right.
you can't do shit.
So then how do we punish them?
I mean, if you can't work, that's fine. No, but I feel like people listen.
People what?
The only way people really act comes back and it affects the public. So it's like if you're working for a big company, you're probably losing jobs. That's me, really. The first one in the line.
Right.
You know?
So if you're working for a big company and you're about to lose your job, you're going to be the first one in the line.
Yeah.
So true. So true. So that's what that's smart. That's what we need to do.
I mean, that's what we're doing. Counting straight heads and counting, oh, that's a baby, that's a this, that's a that. You know what I'm saying? It's everyone needs to get vaccinated. You really don't need to vaccinate. You really don't need to vaccinate. It's in your, you take, especially if it's not going to school, it's not going out, it's in your house.
So at what age do you think people should?
Once you go out and you have to go to preschool, when you're around kids, I don't know what the hell Johnny down the block was doing. So that's when you know it's not.
Okay, so then if you think that babies like don't need to get vaccinated, then why do you think there's such a strong push for it?
Should tell her to not get the Johnson & Johnson one, is what you're saying? Don't get the Johnson & Johnson.
I didn't tell you.
Okay. But she doesn't necessarily need to because she's young.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
But again, she shouldn't just out of her civic. It's her civic duty.
Make that much of a difference. Yeah. So what would you say? Homeschool or get the vaccine?
Honestly, I don't think a kid needs to go. Just me.
Why not?
Because of the kid. You know? You shouldn't have to get a vaccine. You're a kid. You know? You're just a kid. You're not developed yet. I mean, like, there's so much growth. You know? When you're young, you can rebound from the virus. You're fine. You shouldn't be getting it because you could spread to other people. You know? Because you're a kid. You know? It's terrible.
What about it is terrible in your eyes?
It's the same concept of like you don't do things for kids. You don't put kids through certain things that you put adults through. It's just that kind of category.
Right.
As a kid, you just don't do that.
Right.
Not something that's so unknown in terms of the repercussions down the road. You know?
So would you say we don't know the repercussions of it?
I mean, how could you, right? There's nobody who's 30 years in that said, hey, I got the vaccine and I don't have a third eyeball.
So you're probably loving work right now then.
Yeah, that's cool. It's weird because they wanted us to take the J&J vaccine. I was like, oh, good. I mean, it just wasn't the effectiveness, but like.
So you didn't take it?
Oh no, I did. I took the Moderna.
Oh, you took. Okay, yeah. So why is everyone leaning away from the Johnson & Johnson one?
It could be in part like an FU. I'm not going to get your vaccine if you're going to force me to do this. It could be too because people just don't trust it. You know?
But never Johnson & Johnson. Why though?
60% thing in the blood clots.
Brandon Schack goes on to explain his views and that the problem boils down to a lack of transparency within J&J for both political and financial reasons.
So what do you think this is about? Do you think it's about the money?
Collection of everything.
What?
The collection of everything, I bet.
What do you mean?
Politics, money. A lot of people trying to make the right decision, but being stuck in their position of really being influenced by somebody to go one side or the other. I don't think anybody's going to say anything either if there's something wrong, you know?
Why not?
People are private, you know? Even J&J.
What?
Even J&J is.
They're private?
You don't hear about all this stuff. Like if something bad is going on, like, alright, the 13 years that I've been there, at least my time in consumer products, they've had Tylenol that was laced with like cyanide, something bad happened there, they had the recall products.
I don't know if I trust people. I don't know if I trust, like, what the media tells us, you know?
Should.
So you said I shouldn't trust the media?
No, why should we?
Right.
Why the hell should we?
Right. What do you mean by that?
In no capacity should we anything that we say.
It is startling to hear employees of one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world refusing the very products they develop.
Antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
Nick Carl is an experienced biochemist at Pfizer with a history of working in the pharmaceutical industry. Nick admits to our undercover journalist that those who've had COVID have stronger immunity than those who've received the Pfizer COVID vaccine.
When somebody is naturally immune, like they got COVID, they probably have better, like not better, but more antibodies against the virus. Because what the vaccine is like I said, that protein that's just on the outside. So it's just one antibody against one specific part of the virus. When you actually get the virus, you're going to start producing antibodies against like multiple pieces of the virus. And not only just like that outside portion, like the inside portion, the actual virus. So your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
But don't take his word for it. Two other Pfizer scientists echo the same sentiment.
So I'm well protected? Like as much as the vaccine?
Probably more.
How so? Like how much more?
You're protected most likely for longer, since it was a natural response.
We're like bred and taught to be like vaccine is safer than actually getting COVID. You cannot like talk about this like in public. If you have antibodies built up, like you should be able to prove that you have those built up.
I mean, I still feel like I work for like an evil corporation. They're trying to keep track of everyone that's been vaccinated versus the census of how many people are actually reported. Basically, our organization is run on COVID money now. You don't talk about anything that can possibly implicate you or like big pharma. Like even if you shut the door to the office, it's kind of like, who's listening?
I specifically have like, oh God, I signed NDAs against this.
The government doesn't want to show that the darn vaccine is full of shit.
There needs to be a registry of the people who aren't vaccinated. That's sounding very mean. I'm gonna go door to door and stab everyone. Oh, it's just your booster shot.
Don't get the Johnson & Johnson.
I didn't tell you no.
She didn't want to take it because of her religious beliefs. She was coerced into taking it.
They are not reported because they want to shove it on the map.
Oh God, I signed NDAs against this. So your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
You're not wearing a wire, right?
Our next installment in the series exposing Big Pharma will feature multiple releases inside one of the nation's largest COVID vaccine manufacturers, Pfizer. The series features not one, not two, but three scientists within Pfizer talking to one of our undercover journalists, making stunning admissions about the COVID vaccine and the culture inside of Pfizer.
Like we're like bred and taught to be like vaccine is safer than actually getting COVID. And that's like honestly, we have to do so many seminars on this. Like you have no idea. Like we have to like sit there for hours and hours and listen to like be like you cannot like talk about this like in public. You know, logically though, like if you have antibodies built up, like you should be able to prove that you have those built up. Like just be like, I don't know, maybe but potentially that doesn't seem that crazy.
I had COVID and I have monster immunity after 8 months, so I just got checked last month for antibodies.
I mean, that's no worries. Same thing with my brother.
So should I get the vaccine?
Wait.
Till when?
If your immunity starts to wane, then get vaccinated.
So I'm well protected?
Yeah.
Like as much as the vaccine?
Probably more.
How so? Like how much more?
I mean, so when we came out with, let's see, so right now we're seeing an increase in the Delta variant mostly not because of the variant, because of their antibodies are waning. So they're still protected, but not at that 95% efficacy. It's more like 70%. So you're protected most likely for longer, since it was a natural response. So basically they're trying to keep track of everyone that's been vaccinated versus the census of how many people are actually reported. So I mean, they're trying to get their numbers, but still you shouldn't have to show anything, which is basically, in my opinion, a violation of HIPAA. No one has the right to ask you if you've been vaccinated, so it's an invasion of privacy. I don't agree with it. So.
Nick's take on these social mandates would seem to run contrary to his sentiment on antibody immunity. This isn't the first time we've heard this sentiment from a scientist with one of these companies.
How do we get the unvaccinated vaccinated?
I feel like what they're doing, like, for instance, like the city needs like vax cards and everything. It's just like about making it so inconvenient for like unvaccinated people to the point where they're just like, I'll get it. You know?
What do you mean?
Like if you are restricting people that are unvaccinated from doing anything, and then like vaccinated people are allowed to do anything they want, eventually they're just going to be like, let me just get vaccinated.
I mean, you have multiple companies that were basically given a crap ton of money to produce vaccines, and they're pushing them.
So what happens to the monoclonal antibody treatments?
Pushed to the side.
Why?
Money. It's disgusting. You're not wearing a wire, right?
No. You want to check?
I mean, I still feel like I work for like an evil corporation because it comes down to profits in the end, and I mean, I'm there to help people, not to make millions and millions of dollars. So I mean, that's the moral dilemma.
Billions and billions?
I'm trying to be nice.
No, yes, I hear you. I do. I mean, I'll still give you a hard time about it.
Basically, our organization is run on COVID money now.
How so?
Like, it netted like over 15 billion last year.
Chris Croce is a senior associate scientist with Pfizer. He goes on to explain a test that is currently taking place at Pfizer, not to determine the effectiveness, but to see if it is leading to heart attacks.
I'm glad you didn't get any myocarditis. Because that's a concern, right?
Yeah. More so for younger people.
Why?
That's what we're looking into right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so, we just sent like 3,000 patient samples to get tested for like elevated troponin levels.
Yeah.
To see if it's vaccine based or so.
What's it look like?
I don't know. We just sent that over this past week, and the last batch will be sent over next week. All external testing. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. Because I mean, if not, then my opinion, that might pull something from the market.
If the scientists believe that the antibody works more effectively than the vaccines, it begs the question, what's with all the federal mandates, regardless of what the data says?
There's ears and eyes everywhere.
What do you mean?
At Pfizer, like in the building. So it's kind of just like, you don't talk about anything that can possibly implicate you or like big pharma. Like even if you shut the door to the office, it's kind of like, who's listening?
These expressed views run contrary to the current public policy affecting millions of people. If you're on the inside of the pharmaceutical company, contact us at veritatips@protonmail.com and stay tuned. We have hidden camera footage of executives at Pfizer.
Code yellow.
Code yellow. Hey, Nick, is this seat taken?
Yes.
You work for Pfizer, don't you?
Ooh.
You're on.
Not doing this.
You're a scientist at Pfizer.
Dude, do not.
You.
Absolutely not. What are you doing right now?
So you're on camera saying that the antibodies, if you've had COVID, are better at that point than your vaccination.
So your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination. I like to see any of this. Are you f***ing kidding me right now?
I'm not kidding you. You are on camera explaining
anything about me.
Well, here's a video of you talking.
When somebody is naturally immune, like they got COVID, they probably have better, like not better, but more antibodies against the virus.
You work for Pfizer. Sir, would you just tell the public what you've said privately? You're welcome to drive away if you'd like, but I'm standing in a public parking lot here. This is the most important public health issue of a generation. This is an incredibly important issue. You're a scientist for Pfizer. For Pfizer. How do you sleep at night? And that's Nick Carl for Pfizer. We just want him to be public with the people about what he said privately. The question is, why does he want to keep this secret from the American people?
I specifically have I signed NDAs against it.
Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID?
Well, that is not what we say to the public. No, don't tell anyone this. You gotta publish, don't tell anyone. You gotta publish, don't tell anyone. Okay? We're exploring, no, you know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we can preemptively develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're gonna do that, though, there's a risk of, as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating viruses. It'd be, very controlled to make sure that this virus that you mutate doesn't create something that, goes everywhere.
Something crazy.
Is the way that the virus started and moving on it. To be honest, it makes no sense if this virus popped out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
Meet Jordan Tristan Walker, a director of research and development strategic operations and mRNA scientific planning at Pfizer.
It sounds like gain of function to me.
I don't know, it's a little bit different. I think it's different. It's definitely not gain of function.
It sounds like it is. I mean, it's okay.
No, directed evolution is very different. Well, you're not supposed to do gain of function research with the viruses. They recommend not. But you do these selected directional mutations to try to see if you can make more potent.
Yeah.
So there is research ongoing about that. I don't know how that's gonna work. There not being more outbreaks because Jesus Christ.
The gentleman seems to have absolutely no moral compass at all.
I think a revolving door for all government officials. It's pretty good for the industry, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's bad for everyone else in America.
Why is it bad for everybody else?
Because it's the regulators who have to approve our drugs. You know that once they stop being a regulator, they want to go work for the company. They're not going to be as hard for the company. They're doing their job.
If this is the quality of individuals within Pfizer that are making these huge decisions that risk global public health, it's profoundly corrupt.
What is Pfizer doing, I guess, to optimize, the vaccines now?
Oh, we actually had a meeting about that today, so there's a lot.
Really?
We're doing, I don't know if I should say this.
Our undercover journalist asked Walker how Pfizer is handling the fact that their COVID vaccines are ineffective against virus variants. What he said is disturbing. Listen to this.
We're exploring, you know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we can preemptively develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating viruses.
Yeah.
So we're do we want to do this? So that's, one of the things we're considering.
Okay.
The future, maybe we can, create new versions of the vaccines and things like that.
Okay, so Pfizer ultimately is thinking about mutating COVID?
Well, that is not what we say to the public. No. That's why it was a thought that came up at a meeting, and we were like, why do we not? It was like, we're going to consider that with more discussions. Okay. That exact reaction, right? We're like, wait a minute, like, people won't like that.
That's right. It appears that Pfizer is internally discussing the possibility of mutating the COVID virus themselves in order to tailor a vaccine to sell to the public. Listen to Walker describe in detail just how they would conduct such a scientific experiment, first in living animals.
So the way that we're thinking about it, don't tell anyone this. You gotta promise you won't tell anyone. You gotta promise you won't tell anyone. Okay, so the way it would work is like we put them in the virus in these monkeys. Okay. And then we successively like cause them to keep infecting each other. And we collect serial samples from them, and then the ones that are more infectious, like the virus, we'll put them in another monkey and you just constantly actively mutate it. That's one way. Okay. Or you can even do like directed like simulation, which like we tend not to prefer. And then you just sample what the different proteins on the surface of the virus look like over time. Okay. So then you can see the mutation, and you can kind of force it to mutate in a certain way you want. Okay. But you have to be like very controlled to make sure that this virus that you mutate doesn't create something that it goes everywhere.
Something crazy.
I suspect is the way that the virus started in Wuhan. To be honest, like it makes no sense that this virus popped out of nowhere. Like
yeah, I know.
COVID virus experimentation on live monkeys? This is unethical, to say the least, and Walker describes those experiments as if they are ongoing and not simply a hypothetical discussion.
So, I mean, when is Pfizer going to implement the mutation of all these viruses?
I don't know. It depends on how the experiments work out, because this is just like something that's dying, right?
It sounds like gain of function to me.
I don't know. It's a little bit different. I think it's different. It's like it's definitely not gain of function.
Sounds like it is. I mean, it's okay.
No, directed evolution is very different.
Direct evolution?
Directed evolution.
Directed evolution, okay. Well, so, I mean, is that what it is?
Maybe, well, you're not supposed to do gain function research with the viruses, like, they recommend not. But you do, like, these, like, selected directional mutations to try to see if you can make more potent.
Yeah.
So there is research ongoing about that. I don't know how that's going to work. There might not be any more outbreaks, because, like, Jesus Christ.
So, tell me more, like, what's developing with the whole, virus mutation process?
Well, they're still kind of conducting the experiments on it, but it seems like from what I've heard, they're kind of optimizing it, but it's going slow. Everyone's very cautious, right. Obviously don't want to kind of accelerate it too much.
Yeah.
But I think they're also just trying to do it as an exploratory thing, because you obviously don't want to advertise that you're trying to figure out future mutations.
Okay, so did the whole virus mutation thing come from your executive, Sarah?
No, that came from we have chief scientific officers in the other divisions.
In a subsequent meeting, our undercover journalist asked if this type of gain-of-function research is already being studied at Pfizer. But no, as long as it's called directed evolution, Pfizer's in the clear.
What's the goal for Pfizer of doing that?
So probably what they want to do is to try to figure out, to some extent, there's all these new strains of variants that just pop up. Why don't we try to catch them before they pop up in nature, and we can develop a vaccine prophylactically for new variants.
Yeah.
So that's why they're thinking if you do it controlled in the lab, then you say, oh, this is an epitope. And so then if it comes out later on, in the public, we already have a vaccine kind of working on it.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Mm-hmm. Isn't that the best business model though? Just control nature before nature even happens itself, right?
Yeah, if it works.
What do you mean if it works?
Because some of the times there were just mutations that pop up, right, and we're not prepared for it, with Delta or Omicron,
right,
and things like that. So who knows? I mean, either way, it's gonna be a cash cow. COVID will probably be a cash cow for us for a while going forward.
Yeah,
I obviously
Well, I think the whole, research of the viruses and mutating it, would be the ultimate, cash cow.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Now, you would think that creating viruses to sell the vaccine would be illegal. But no. The pharmaceutical industry, as Walker puts it, is, quote, a revolving door for all government officials, unquote.
A revolving door for all government officials?
Wow.
Yeah, for any industry though. So in the pharma industry, all the government officials who review our drugs, especially they come work for pharma companies. In the military, all the army and defense government officials eventually go work for the defense companies afterwards.
How do you feel about that revolving door?
It's pretty good for the industry, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's bad for everyone else in America.
Why is it bad for everybody else?
Because if the regulators who have to approve our drugs know that once they stop being regulated, they want to go work for the company, they're not going to be as hard for the company. They were doing their job.
Right.
We talked to Dr. Robert Malone, physician, scientist, and author, to get his take on the comments made by Jordan Walker.
You're gaining function, you're creating a new function in virus 1 by adding elements from virus 2, infecting one monkey and then another monkey. That's called serial passage. That appears to have been one of the technologies deployed in the Wuhan Institute of Virology with the humanized mouse strains that I believe were obtained from EcoHealth Alliance. That's an example of directed evolution. The gentleman seems to have absolutely no moral compass at all about what he's doing. The hubris and arrogance and immaturity. If this is the quality of individuals within Pfizer that are making these huge decisions that risk global public health with such a casual disregard for the human toll, it's profoundly corrupt in terms of would it be feasible for Pfizer to circumvent international or national law. I think that is undeniable. And the gentleman in your investigative work has clearly indicated that Pfizer believes that it has successfully captured the regulatory apparatus of the United States government and presumably worldwide. Pfizer has completed regulatory capture, is quite proud of it.
With governments turning a blind eye and Pfizer hiding information from the public, this is an ongoing story. Be brave, do something, spread these videos, and stay tuned.
So, tell me more, like, what's developing with the whole, virus mutation process?
Well, they're still kind of conducting the experiments on it, but it seems like from what I've heard, they're kind of optimizing it, but they're going slow because everyone's very cautious. Like,
right.
Obviously don't want to kind of accelerate it too much.
Yeah.
But I think they're also just trying to do it as an exploratory thing because you obviously don't want to advertise that you're trying to figure out future mutations.
How would the research study be delayed for COVID stuff?
Well, not for COVID specifically. So, now we're basically focusing on mRNA beyond COVID. So, for a lot of our forward-looking research studies, you got to make sure they're on track and things like that.
So, what is RNA going to be used for in the future?
Lots of stuff, but I can't tell you because you can't really.
Wait, why not? Now, come on, I feel like there's, it's just gonna be like what for flu, right?
It'll be for other things too. There's a whole list of things we're developing it for. Yeah, not just for viruses. So we're applying it for oncology. Well, I'm less certain about the oncology prospects, but we're doing it for gene editing.
Wow.
The portfolio has moved beyond, or at least internally, our focus areas have moved beyond COVID.
Yeah.
Now they have a dedicated COVID mRNA team who just keeps an eye on that.
Right.
And so the company has focused on okay, now where are we going to use this technology in the future? Because that's what the investors cover on now.
Right.
No one gives a shit about COVID.
Right. Is Pfizer going to be held liable for any of these vaccine injuries that have happened?
I don't think so. Because usually when you give drugs, people, if there's a known side effects, it's this, it's included and that's illegal. But it could be, there were lots of people who were Vioxx and heart attacks.
Really? Vioxx.
So that wasn't for us, that was another pharma company. Well, they still have to do the monitoring for it over time. So there hasn't been any problems so far. But we'll see. In the next couple of years, if anything comes up, I'm hoping it won't, obviously.
Hope nobody's growing 3 legs or something like that, right?
Yeah, or the entire next generation is super fucked up. Could you imagine the scandal? Oh my god. I take Pfizer off my resume. Something irregular about their menstrual cycles, so people will have to investigate that down the line.
Yeah.
Because that is a little concerning. Because if you think about the science, it shouldn't be interacting with it's called the hypothalamus, pituitary gonadal axis.
Right.
The hormones regulate their menstrual cycles and things like that. And the action shouldn't be interfering with that, so we don't really.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
But is it?
There's something happening, but we don't always figure out.
Well, I mean, you're a urologist, so you must understand, like, what's going on with it, right? Like,
well, that's why I understand that it's weird.
I mean, I've heard that, you know, like, just menstrual cycles and...
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, I hope we don't discover something really bad from now on. I hope we don't find out that, like, there's somehow this mRNA, like, lingers in the body, and then, like, because it has to be impacting something hormonal to impact menstrual cycles.
Right.
So somehow, the vaccines must be interacting with, like, the axis signal, the HPG axis, to cause these changes in menstrual cycles. Like, think about how the
HPG axis?
Yeah, it goes like the hypothalamus, pituitary, and then gonads. They send like signals to each other.
Okay, so the HPG axis is why the fertility problems are happening.
Yeah, because they control the cycle. So, like, if anything's impacting that, it must be impacting these hormones somehow. But then we need to figure out, like, how are they impacting hormones? Because, like, the signaling starts in, like, the brain, right? And the vaccine doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier. I will say, like, if it does come down the line where something wrong with the vaccine, then obviously people will, like, criticize, like, the big push. Because there's a lot of social pressure, government pressure, job pressure to get the vaccine. Like, I had to get the vaccine, otherwise I would have gotten fired, right?
Right.
And if something were to happen downstream and it was, like, really bad, I think it would... I mean, the scale of that scandal would be, like, enormous.
Pfizer not wanting the public to know that you guys are doing directed evolution.
Bro, what's going on here? Like, that feels like an interview. I don't know, it's freaking me out. I mean, these like flashbacks to that like sting organization of like those conservative people who like randomly go into organizations and then like befriend people who work in these organizations and then report them, which happened to people at Pfizer. So it like freaks me out when people start asking a lot of questions about work. It's so scary.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Bro, why would that this company?
Because I just want to know the answer.
You're not probably reporting me. Oh my god, Jason, that'd be horrible. You better not be reporting me or something.
Hey there. Is this seat taken?
What?
Hi. You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the public the fact that they're mutating the COVID viruses?
Is this real life? What is happening here?
Why?
What is going on here? This is absurd.
Why does Pfizer want to hide from the public that they're mutating the COVID virus?
Oh my god.
You're on video. You're on video. Mutating the COVID virus.
What is going on here? I need to call the police right now. This is.
And I know this is my restaurant. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on either. This is ridiculous.
So you're on video. I'm a journalist.
Bro, first of all, I'm literally a liar.
He's on video.
Whoa.
You're saying we're exploring how the virus keeps mutating.
Yes,
one of the things we're exploring is why don't we mutate the virus?
I don't know what's happening. But I really need the cops here right now.
So please do. Please do call the police. Please do call the police. Please do.
You can't do this here, guys. You have to leave. No, you can't do this here.
You're going to call the police. He's going to call the police for asking him a question. Please do call the police. Please do. He's on tape here talking about mutating the COVID virus. Can I talk to you outside about this?
Absolutely not. You're not even my likeness on this. What is your name? Because you fucked up. You really did. I'm about to sue you. This is absurd.
Please
you
do.
have someone mock me as if they're going on a date to record me. You don't even know my position at this. I was trying to impress a person on a date by lying. I was literally trying. Okay. I'm not even a scientist by background. You know that I came from a consulting firm that does business. This is absurd.
Please don't touch me.
This is absurd.
So,
please call the cops here.
Please do call the cops. Please do. Why would you call the cops if you have nothing to hide? So he's obviously having one of the most outrageous reactions I've ever seen in the history of Project Veritas. He's threatening to call the police. Okay, he grabbed the microphone. The question is, why is he calling the police?
Guys, can you just respect my father? Please stop.
What?
Can I pay their bill? Can I get a check for their bill?
Wait, no, do not give me your check. No, don't let them leave. Because I want the cops to know this.
Do you want to put me in jail for asking you a question?
Yes, sir.
What is the intention of calling the police?
They have like no one's injured right now. We have several witnesses.
Could I talk to you, please, about this video?
Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white people.
Why would you bring race into this?
Please bring the cops as soon as possible. I feel very unsafe.
We have you on tape talking about mutating the COVID virus.
No one mutates a COVID virus.
Show you the May I show you the video?
No, I want to call the police. Please don't let them leave.
Do we have to leave?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I asked a question. No, you cannot just leave.
Are you? Do you want me to
I
leave?
want the police to come here and see all of you people. Because this is insane.
Can I ask you about this video?
Insane.
Please.
You can tell them about how I was lying to impress
Here,
the date.
just is it true what you said?
What is this? No. I literally was on a third date with a guy, and like normal men, you lie to impress a date.
Mutating viruses? Do you not work for Pfizer?
This guy, I thought he was a date.
Sir, do you not work for Pfizer? Do you work
I
for?
was a contractor. What the fuck are you?
Do you currently work for Pfizer? Yes or no? Do you currently work for Pfizer? Yes or no?
What are you talking about here? Please, I want the cops to be here.
So you don't work for Pfizer?
You can't do this to people. This is absurd.
He doesn't want me to leave, ma'am.
Don't let them
I
want the cops here now. I want the cops here now.
He wants the cops here, but he doesn't want me to leave. So I'm in a little bit of a predicament because she's asking me to leave, but he doesn't want me to leave. So what should we do?
Okay, so these people have I was on a
Hi,
date.
you're on a video
and
here.
These people literally left
Look,
out of nowhere.
Pfizer is mutating the virus.
This is absurd.
Look at this
no,
video.
I literally said that is, what are you talking about?
Well, this is not, by the way,
Why are you doing
don't
this
tell anybody.
To someone who's just working at a company to literally help the public.
Why do you want to hide it from the
I don't
public?
know who you people are, and I can't believe I'm going to trust someone.
Why do you want to hide it from the public?
Stop all this stuff aside. I'm a real person.
If you suspect that mutating COVID virus, is this the way the virus started in Wuhan?
Wait, can you please give us a video?
Why do you think it's okay for Pfizer to do that?
We were sitting on a table. Can you explain what happened to me? Please,
He's filming the restaurant owner right now. He's filming her. I don't know why he's filming her.
No, don't listen.
Would you like me to leave? Because he's asking me not to leave, and he's consenting to my presence. Ma'am, are we allowed to just stay and ask a few questions?
Please don't ask them.
It's pretty remarkable that they call the police on us every time we show up and ask questions. Every time. You say Pfizer is planning on doing research in the future, then claim that there's an ongoing research about that, and that there better not be any more outbreaks. Which is it? Are these experiments happening or not? Calling the police.
We can do it right up front.
Okay.
No, do not leave. Do not leave. Please don't let them leave.
What's that?
Oh, they locked us in here.
They locked us in.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. Do you want us to leave or not?
Ma'am, you locked the door.
Ma'am?
Ma'am, we're trying to leave, but you locked us in here.
Call our attorney.
Can you please unlock your door? Let us out.
No, I don't know what's going on. I don't want anyone leaving before I know what's going on. What are you trying to do?
Can you please unlock your door?
No, don't let them leave.
Can you unlock the door?
I still like saying that. Please, no, don't let them out. Don't let them out.
Could you please let us leave, ma'am?
I don't know what's happening. You can't lock us in.
We'd like to leave. We'd like to leave. Please unlock the door.
Like, see, now they're worried because they know what they're doing.
It's because we're literally being trapped.
Stop. Get away from me.
Please unlock the door.
What is going on here?
Please unlock the door. Please unlock the door. 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 This is remarkable here. Thank you. Thank you. We're trying to unlock the door. Unlock the door. Unlock the door.
It's not okay
Unlock the door.
people like that. It is not. Stop. Let go of me. Now you're hurting me. What is going on here? You cannot just record people like that.
Come on.
It's not okay.
Come on.
It's not okay.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. We're in New York City. This is remarkable what you just witnessed here in the restaurant. Come on, guys. Where's the car? Where's the vehicle?
Keep walking.
Come on. This is insane. You just witnessed one of the most remarkable interactions ever. Do we have the iPad? So we're getting into the vehicle now. Where's our car?
Stop. Stop. That's not them. Stop. Cops, they're right there. No, stop.
He's charging the guy, charging.
You can't make an arrest at this point if you don't have the victim right here.
Okay. 'Cause if he was here, you'd arrest that guy?
If he was here, yes.
Oh, then we could just walk away then. Not worry about it.
If that's what you guys want to...
I'm a journalist for Project VAERS, and a whistleblower with Pfizer recently released your internal emails. And what I want to know is, why did you write an email saying that you would prefer we do not discuss fetal tissue being used in laboratory tests associated with the vaccine program?
Philip Dormitzer, Vice President, Chief Scientific Officer. These are not low-level people here. Copying Vanessa Gelman, we have an approved answer to this question, the question being about fetal tissue, which Vanessa can probably provide. HEK2932. What does that mean? HEK cells?
Human embryo kidney cells, and it was from experiment 293. From the perspective of corporate affairs, we want to avoid having the information on the fetal cell lines floating out there. We believe that the risk of communicating this right now outweighs any potential benefit that we could see, particularly with general members of the public who may take this information and use it in ways we may not want it out there.
Why would you lie to the American public? We're connected with our communications. I'd like to talk to you right now since I'm with you. Should the American public trust Pfizer at this point, since a lot of whistleblowers have come out, and even we've exposed scientists saying that the antibodies are better than the vaccine itself?
So your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
You know, how can the American public trust you guys at this point, Phil? You don't want to give us any comment about that tonight, Phil? Phil, we expose everybody, just so you know, brother. Once again, we asked the questions, they run away. He did say we can contact his communications department, so that's what we'll do now, but that's how it goes. We ask the questions and they run. Who's next?
Hey, Vanessa? Vanessa Gelman, I'm a reporter with Project Veritas.
Vanessa Gelman, who works in Washington, D.C., is Senior Director of Worldwide Research. From Vanessa Gelman.
From the perspective of corporate affairs, we want to avoid having the information on the fetal cell lines floating out there. We believe that the risk of communicating this right now outweighs any potential benefit that we could see, particularly with general members of the public who may take this information and use it in ways we may not want it out there.
Miss, why did you send emails telling Pfizer employees not to report that you guys were using fetal cell lining, miss? What else are you hiding from the public? Miss, what else are you hiding from the public? The public needs to know. Well, there you have it. We wanted to ask her a few questions. She broke out into a sprint. We really think that the public needs to know about the fetal cell lining emails. And we tried to get a comment. She ran. Sometimes they don't want to answer for the fraud that they're committing or the corruption that's going on. We try our best, and the really only question now is who's next.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Albert Bourla. Your company, Pfizer... Excuse me, don't push me. Do not touch me.
Get that out of my face.
You're a journalist, okay?
No, you're not.
James Lalino, Project Veritas reporter, standing outside the Conrad Hotel in Washington, D.C., where just a short while ago this morning, myself and one of my colleagues, one of our top undercover journalists, confronted Albert Bourla, CEO of Pfizer. He did not want to answer any of our questions about Dr. Jordan Walker.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Albert Bourla. Your company, Pfizer... Excuse me, don't push me. Mr. Albert Bourla, why did your company, Pfizer, avoid responding to multiple press inquiries from Project Veritas regarding Dr. Jordan Walker? Mr. Bourla, your Pfizer employees are telling our journalists this information. Why not just be transparent? What do you have to hide? What's the big secret, Mr. Bourla? What are you doing here today? Are you worried that you're going to be called before Congress to testify on whether or not Pfizer lied about testing on the COVID virus? Or are you confident your lobbyists have paid enough Pfizer money? Are you worried that you're going to be called before Congress to testify on whether or not Pfizer lied about testing on the COVID virus? Or are you confident your lobbyists have paid enough Pfizer money to elected officials to avoid oversight and scrutiny? Is that what you're doing here today, sir?
How much money are you giving?
Do not touch me.
Keep that out of my face.
You're a journalist, okay?
No, you're not.
Mr. Bourla, would you like to sit down with an interview for Project Veritas? Who can we talk to? Do you talk to any journalists at all?
Bourla, your bottom line, huh?
Good job, guys. Are you guys the elected officials that are helping him avoid oversight and scrutiny? Would anybody like to comment? What are you guys going to discuss? Do we like quiet meetings and closed doors? Just asking questions on behalf of the people. Hi, this is private meeting space.
Oh, we know. That's why we want to get in there and ask some questions.
Who can we talk to about setting up an interview with?
Good morning. Can I assist you?
Yeah, we're here to ask some questions of Mr. Borla on behalf of the people.
Okay, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. This is a private event. We can't have you in the hotel.
Well, we have a room, so.
This is a private space. Security's not providing.
Oh, great, cool. So we'll talk to them. What do you do?
Guys, I'm just here to ask some questions about how Mr. Borla can go without oversight and scrutiny and not answer one single question to a journalist. Lots of conversations behind closed doors, guys, with the Republican Governors Association. I noticed no media was invited to this meeting, sir. It would be a lot easier if he would just agree to sit down with us.
The real question is, as Mr. Borla meets with elected officials and lobbyists, is this how Pfizer skirts government oversight?